Hey, good afternoon, everyone. TrackMan44 here. You know, I get a number of requests on my sheet metal videos about my four-way scribe that I use. People are wanting to know, or a lot of viewers are wanting to know, how I make it or where I got it or whatever. So I'm just going to kind of go ahead and make a video. I had another guy suggest just today that I go ahead and make a video on one. So I'm going to show you how we do it. Now you can get by using galvanized. This is one I made years and years ago. I made dozens of them over the years. But galvanized works fine, but you have to continuously keep cutting it back and sharpening it. And I'll show you what I mean by sharpening it here in a second. But they lose their edge really, really quickly. So the tip just wears down because they're just not a good hard material. But still, it'll work fine. You've got a piece of 24 or 22 gauge galvanized. You can use it quick and temporary. Not a problem. Here's one I just made just because I sometimes run back to the shop and make something. Don't even have my toolbox, leave it in the truck. So I made this little one here just to leave on the workbench or near the workbench so that I've got access to it in here. And this is the one, the tried and true that you see in all the videos that I use pretty much continuously. Now all this material here is a good high quality stainless steel. I can't tell you any numbers or anything off of it, but this here happens to be just a scrap piece of stainless steel that's off of your boiler wrapping, your boiler flue pipe wrapping. They'll come in and they'll insulate it, and then they'll put this stainless steel around it and then clamp those clamps in place. This happens to be scraps off of one of those. So all you do is you start off with whatever square is convenient for you to work with. This happened to be a small square that I happen to have laying there, so I just went ahead and used that. But there's no given dimension except for I would not go too large. This guy here was really well, and you can see I rounded the corners off of it. You can spin it around your fingers really quick and easy and everything with the rounded corners, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. But at any rate, all you do is you take a rule and then mark your 1/4 inch line very accurately on it. The next you'd rotate it 90 degrees, and I like to put the 3/4 here. And then I go to the 1/2 inch here. Then I go to the 1 inch here. The reason I do that is because the majority of what you're going to use is going to be the 1/4, the 1/2, and the 3 and the 1 inch for your. The 1/4, the 1/2, and the 1 inch for your Pittsburgh, for your 1/2 inch double hem flange, and also your 1/4 inch for the other side of Pittsburgh. I got a 3/8 notch cut into the side because sometimes you use the 3/8, but not very often. The 3/4 is the least used, so I put that in the out of the way location. But a 1/4, 1/2, and 1 inch. So that's what we have here. Now that you've got these marks established on the four corners, all you want to do is come in here and cut with exceptionally sharp and clean unsprung tin snips on the line, whatever distance it is that you want to cut, and then cut at an angle. Okay, here goes the 3/4. Make sure it's perfectly on that line because that becomes your measuring device. Now the 1/2 inch. And the 1 inch. There it is, you're good to go. Except you got all the contortions from making the snip, the tin snips kind of contorted a little bit. So just go ahead and use your little anvil. By the way, that anvil is just a piece of scrap channel iron. It ain't really an anvil. But now you've got it right there. There's your 1/4, there's your 1 inch, and your 1/2 inch right there. Right where you want them to be. Now another thing that I do is I'll put these pop rivets in here so that whenever I throw it down on the table, it's easy to slide to the edge and pick up. If you have just a flat metal there like I've got these guys here now, a lot of times you just can't pick it up. You just can't pick it up. You've got to use two hands. So whenever you put these on here, it allows you to go ahead and pick them up with relative ease. So the next thing to do whenever you're using this, I made one of these for a guy, and I watched him laying out some metal, and he said, man, my stuff doesn't come out right. And so I watched him lay out his metal, and what he's done, he took my Scribe, and I didn't explain to him what I do. I thought he would probably pay attention, but he was running in here like this. You see at that angle, just like that, and then making his mark. Well, he's too wide, because obviously the angle here is much longer than it is if you come straight into the outside edge. This is a tool that's made to be used straight up and down, just like this right here, because that'll give you your accurate marks right there. Just like this. Whoops, the 3/4. Then all you can do is take your tape measure, put it right across here. That should be exactly 1 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 of an inch. Just dead nut, perfectly on it. So that's how you use it. Remember, vertical, straight up and down like this right here, not like this right here. So now I have a bigger Scribe to keep here in the shop, on the workbench. All I just do is put a couple pop rivets in it, and it'll be good to go. So I hope that eliminated any of the questions that you all might have about, how to make the homemade Scribe. That's just what I do. I mean, there's any number of them that you can buy, I'm sure. I see a lot of guys that use these guys right here, but if you stop and think, every time you have to stop and adjust this whenever you're making a layout, I mean, you're wasting tremendous amounts of time, because you have to adjust this continuously during the course of a layout. Whereas this guy here, this is 90% of what you're going to be using is these 4 right here. And so it's all fixed, and you don't have to look. You just at a glance, and you can see where the size is. There are some factory ones that you can see now that have all the notches down one side right here, and there might be 5 or 6 notches down. Well, unless you're really familiar with it and use it continuously every day, you kind of have to look at it a little bit more than a glance to make sure you get the right notch for the dimension that you want. So to me, this just does really, really well. Hope that helped y'all, and you know what? This is Tractor Man 44, and I'm out of here, guys.